The Greens are a minor party with major problems. A specially convened party room meeting has just wrapped up and resolved to temporarily suspend controversial Senator Lee Rhiannon from party room discussions. She's accused of undermining party processes, a claim she vigorously denies. As Elise Worthington reports, the rift is exposing an even deeper problem within the Greens.
G'day guys, how are you?
Can we take a moment of
Good
your
to
time?
see you. No, we're on the way in, thanks. But good to see you. Have a good afternoon. We might...
Team Green was all smiles as the party room met in Melbourne this afternoon.
Senator, will you expect to remain in the party after today's meeting?
I have one firm prediction. Sydney Swans will beat the Melbourne Demons on Friday night.
The Greens were putting on a united front amid speculation about the future of its firebrand senator from New South Wales.
Good.
How are those tights going?
Yeah, good.
Well.
Do you expect Lee Rhiannon to still be in your team?
Well, I've got a party in about 1 minute.
In the party that prides itself on grassroots democracy and peace, an internal war has erupted.
I would say that Lee has people in the party who do not agree with her politics, who do not agree with her style of organising. There are people in the party I would characterise as wanting to centralise power within the party and take it away from the grassroots.
She has been subject to complaints, as we've seen. She denies it, but the party has said that she's on her third warning, whether that's true or not. But it's been an acerbic and difficult relationship at times.
Lee Rhiannon entered the New South Wales Upper House in the late 90s.
However, the fundamentals of the scheme remain unfair.
Since becoming a federal senator in 2011, she's been a divisive figure, both lauded for her hard work ethic and criticised for her hard-line politics.
So they are occupying Palestinian land, effectively frontline troops.
She'll be described as a socialist, and that's certainly her approach to policy. And that's reinforced by the structure of the New South Wales Party, because the New South Wales Party does have a greater degree of control over their federal member than the other states.
Lee Rhiannon is part of what's described as the Eastern Bloc, or watermelon faction in the New South Wales Greens, so called because they're green on the outside and red on the inside.
There was a growth in the Greens New South Wales that saw a group of people, not just Lee, who had that older style socialist attitude and philosophy that meant that the Greens New South Wales often were at odds with the other parties throughout the country.
That's caused tension with a federal Greens leader seen as a moderate and keen to negotiate.
Richard Di Natale as leader has been recognised as a pragmatic person to deal with. For some Greens, pragmatism is seen as a kiss of death.
We've always had a very tenuous relationship with the concept of negotiating with the government. There are things on which it is worthwhile to negotiate, and there are things which it is not worthwhile.
The latest split with federal colleagues was over her campaign against the government's Gonski 2.0 reforms. All 9 of Lee Rhiannon's federal parliamentary counterparts signed a letter condemning her actions after she endorsed this local flyer panning the Gonski reforms in the middle of major negotiations with the federal government. But the New South Wales Greens saw it differently.
Lee is the furthest thing from a rogue senator. From day one, Lee has acted in a way which is consistent with the decisions of the Greens New South Wales.
Ben Moroney was involved in the education group, which he says directed Lee Rhiannon to oppose her federal counterparts.
I don't believe it's fair. Lee was acting according to the direction of her state. Lee was acting according to the principle of grassroots democracy, which is that in New South Wales, the local groups in the Greens New South Wales, our local campaigners and our local working groups decide on our policy and put that up to the MPs, rather than having the MPs decide how we approach an issue.
It's not about the latest leaflet necessarily, but it's about an ongoing attitude and way of dealing with people that is found to be quite unsatisfactory. And people don't want to be involved in internal brawls all the time.
Ian Cohen is a political activist and was a Greens New South Wales MP for 16 years. He worked closely with Lee Rhiannon for over a decade. They frequently clashed. He's not surprised about the party's decision.
It's really saying stop undermining us, be respectful of other people's portfolios. I think that's the big thing, and that's something that I have to say has been happening and was happening to me when we shared positions in the New South Wales Parliament.
Are you able to tell us what happened, Senator?
Late this afternoon, Lee Rhiannon came out of the party meeting for a breather, but wasn't keen to talk.
What happens now?
Late today, the party announced it wants changes to the way the New South Wales Greens operate.
The second resolution that we've passed is this, that New South Wales senators be excluded from party room discussions and decisions on contentious government legislation, including within their own portfolio responsibilities, until these issues are resolved. That was supported by all of party room with the exception of Lee and Adam.
Shoring up the party before the federal election is a priority as the Greens seek to expand their power in the Senate.
When you're in a situation where you're not a party of government, then your influence comes through the compromises that you can make and the influence that you can have on other parties to get them to at least recognise and incorporate your views in public policy.